Good morning, friends. This is Laura with Potpourri of Life. I hope you had a restful night. Today is Sunday, September 11th. And as I share that, memories come flooding back. I hope you remember the history of what September 11th remembers. 9/11, when our towers fell, when our country was attacked. And that's not what this video is about. But as I share the date, as I share today's date, it brings back those painful memories. A time when I was homeschooling my kids. My husband called me from the doctor's office because he was with my youngest daughter at the allergist office. And I'll tell you, it numbed our country. So I'm going to be sharing a little bit more on that on my Sunday reflective journal that I'll be doing a little bit later. But first, I wanted to share a little bit of what I do every morning for our chickens. My husband thinks I spoil them, and maybe you do too. And one of his comments is, "You don't do this for me." He's right, I don't, because we have different schedules. At least with the chickens, I know exactly what time they're on a schedule. So let me share what I do. They get a breakfast brunch of sorts. Today is Sunday, so what I do is I give them a little bit more, a little extra. So the first thing that I do is, well, today, normally it's either oatmeal or scrambled eggs, or whatever I decide that I'm going to do. And I mix up the oatmeal from time to time. Yesterday it was, I can't think. Hold on a second. Let my brain be helped. The Scottish oatmeal. Yesterday I gave them some of that. Yes, I have all my canisters labeled. Not that I don't know what things are, but sometimes when your brain is going through a brain fog, it's kind of like, I don't know what that was, but I know what it is. So, but I know, like yesterday they got Scottish oatmeal. Today what I'm doing is I'm going to give them a little bit of regular oatmeal. So I've already got the water heated up for them. Sorry for all that noise. So I'm going to just give them like maybe a quarter cup of the dried oatmeal. But what I'm going to do, because I got other things to do with this, is I'm going to put in here some hot water that I've already done, because the last thing I want to do is give hot meals to the chickens. Now yesterday I gave them their meal in a Fiesta bowl. I love my Fiesta bowls. They knocked it out, so it fell to the ground. I'm like, oh no, did I break it? I didn't, thank you, Jesus. But I didn't break it, and they're still on good terms with me. Hold on, I'm going to get a spoon here. All right, so I'm going to let this, as you all know, you just let it sit and let it heat up. And it doesn't matter if it's the old-fashioned oats or quick oats. I believe these are old-fashioned. So I just let them soak in the heat, for a little bit. But what I'm going to do for them is I'm going to give them some scrambled eggs. And I'm going to get them some raisins. I forgot to get that out. Oh my goodness, how dare I forget to get the raisins out. They like them, and I'm not sure if it's because raisins look like bugs. They like those little black bugs when I lift things up in their run, and they just go in after and attack them. So I'm not sure whether it's the raisins or that. So we're going to start with those things. Let me get a cutting board. And some of you are going to think, oh my gosh, you spoil those chickens. I don't think so. So first things first, we are going to also cook up a farm fresh egg. Not from my chickens yet, but I'm hoping to encourage them. They are not going to get the shells. And let me see, I was going to save these shells. Where's the bowl? Here it is. So what I do is I'm going to get this started first so that I can keep talking to you. Now, I don't give them a whole egg. What I do is I just scramble this right up. Now, what I do is I also, as you know, I save my eggs for a couple of reasons now. One, it was just for me, for calcium intake and make capsules out of them or put it in a smoothie. And now I also incorporate it into their feed for their calcium intake. But you can't give them the eggs just like this. You have to cook their eggs, number one, so they don't recognize the freshness of the egg, but they also cannot have the shells, otherwise they will start breaking their own when they start laying. So these, once I get accumulation of many, and I think I have a bunch in my basket, these will get boiled. And then I will dry them. And then I'll put them in the oven so that they get kind of toasted and stuff. And that's what I'll do, and that becomes a little bit safer. It's actually safer for them. Okay, I got to pay attention here. I can't just be distracted from these eggs. So do I normally give them eggs every day? No, I don't. So I'm going to move the camera a little bit so you can watch what I'm doing instead of listening to me well, you're going to have to listen to me chit-chat. So what I do is, oh, and I was saying, do I normally give them both? Absolutely not. I don't. Because I don't think I need to spoil them that much. My husband sees this meal after I get it ready, regardless of the day that I'm working on it. And he goes, "You don't make me a breakfast every morning." Come on, folks. He gets up really early. I'm not getting up to make him breakfast. He's a big boy. But if he does get up late with me, okay, I'm going to turn that off to kind of cool up. I'm going to put that on the other side in the bowl with the oatmeal. This is one of the things we gave them when they were first here with us. We gave them scrambled eggs. And, you know, it was 6 weeks after we had them, and they just loved it. But I didn't give it to them every day. I don't give them even scrambled eggs right now every day. I just kind of do it as a treat. And it's Sunday. They deserve a treat. So what I'm going to do, and what you're going to see me adding, are a bunch of herbs, some different stuff that I desire to put into their special mix. So first I'm going to do the herbs. So, and dried things like dried spinach. Yes, I dry my spinach. I buy spinach in bulk, and I'm just going to put it in their bowl. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it. I put in there's only 4 chickens, so I only put in a pinch of psyllium husk. Why I do that is I noticed at some point, maybe it was, I don't know if it's the grain or whatnot, or just all the things that they just were pecking away at, it actually helps keep their droppings a little more solid instead of runny. And what I'm doing now is I'm throwing in some flaxseed seeds. No, this is not, I normally used crushed flaxseed in what I make for me. So this I just crush up. I just give them the solid seed. The way they're designed, they can deal with that. Now this here is my eggshells that I've washed, I've crushed, you know, I baked, I crushed and all that. So that's going in there. Okay, I have some kale. I buy kale by the gallons and I grow it. And one of the plants I gave them earlier, you may remember that video. It was a very short clip. They just ate it down, but I saved the plant and kale is coming back. I'm also putting in garlic. It's good for their immune system just as much as it is for ours. So they get dried garlic. Then I have some purple basil here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to crush this down. Oh, it still smells amazing. This is actually from my last year harvest of the basil. All right, and here's some Greek oregano. I'm going to also put in the pestle as well. Yes, they could just eat it down, but I'm just going to just grind it in. Oh, I love the smell of herbs. And I know that I had some rosemary. I want to get some rosemary. This is from the garden this year. It gets all clumped up. I was going to put some thyme in it, but let's just keep this focused. How's that? Okay, so I do this as well with the rosemary. And by the way, I did a lot of research before I add these things into their diet. So that's the 3 herbs all mixed up. And that's in there. All right, and this is some hemp seed. Now, these items are things that these are items that I personally use in my smoothies, in my cooking and stuff. So these are things that I already have on hand. And what I'm doing right now is I'm going to mix up everything together. And they are going to love it because they love the oatmeal. And I've been experimenting on this for quite some time. And I've done a lot of reading on different sites of what's good for them. And some people say, oh, that's not good for them, or that's good for them. But this is something that everybody seems to agree on. So my chickens are getting this. But why would I want to do this? Because, we have bag treats, right? And yes, I'm going to put some of that in there too. That's true. But I find that if I can get these things individually in bulk and grow as much as I can, then it saves me money and I know exactly what's in here. And I just want healthy chickens. They don't live forever, but I want them to be healthy. And I also, on the selfish side, I want my eggs to be healthy too. I want them to be big. I want the shells to be nice and hard. And I want them to be nutritious. And part of the problem I have is because I do have an egg allergy. So I have to cook my eggs differently, and the things I bake, the eggs have to be baked pretty good in there. But, and so sometimes still, I have issues. Life is tough sometimes. But you know what? You just adapt, and you make things work. So if I can feed them things that I can eat, then that can be a bonus. So right now I am getting the raisins ready to chop up, and I'll show you that in a minute. Oh goodness, it's Sunday. I'll give them what's left in the box. And I'm going to change the camera view in just a second. Okay. And then they get a few other treats, so hold on. Okay, so here we have the raisins. Don't they look like little bugs? If you think like a chicken, folks. They look like little bugs. Now, they would be fine eating the raisins as is, because they really don't care. But I like to cut them up. Plus, they then get right to the juice of it, and they end up going back for more. Does it make a difference? I don't know. Remember, I'm a mom at heart. I kind of do this kind of stuff for them. I'll do it for my daughters when they were little, and I'll do it for my grandkids. And yes, I'll do it for my chickens. Will I do it for my husband? No. I love you, Dave, if you're watching this. All right, so I throw that in. All right, you want to see how things are looking right now? All right, so get that all mixed in. Some of you might think this is gross looking. Oh, no, 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 no. This is actually very healthy for a human, too. There's nothing in here that, as a human, we cannot consume. All right, so the other day I went to the grocery store, and in their markdown area, I picked up some apples. I got some Granny Smiths for me, and I got some other odd and ends, and these were in the clearance area where they mark things down. So I find that I just give them one apple, half an apple a day. So 2 apples provides 4 days of apple treat. And that's what they get. So I'm going to get the middle out. I don't bother making them eat that part. I think it's okay for them. I don't know. I'm just that person that just likes to cut things down. All right. So they are going to get the skins though. That I don't have a problem with. And yes, again, I'm chopping this down. They still fight if they're not the first one to get something. You know, it's sort of like kids. If they see something somebody else wants, they want to have it. Oh my gosh, I can't even tolerate that kind of stuff. But, so we got that. And these apples there was really nothing wrong with these apples, as you can see. There's a little bit of a bruise somewhere, but there's no mold. There's nothing wrong with them. And I know that some people even eat the bruises of apples that they get. So I don't always give it to them, but right now, like this here, I might cut that out. But I don't worry about it. Because if I'm in a hurry and I want to get things done, let's see, just a little bit more of this apple. By now, as you can see, the time I take to make this for them, the oatmeal and eggs are starting to cool down quite well. So I put that in there. Do all farmers who raise chickens do this? I sincerely doubt it. But I only have 4 and I get to spoil them any way I want. But you know, they can do this just in a larger method, and they might not do it this way. They may combine all their ingredients, you know, of the dry goods, and then just chop up, not as fine as I did, of the fruits and stuff. So we have that. Now, what I'm going to put in here, this is something I picked up. It's a treat. It's a treat that I purchased, and I was starting to look through it. And when I bought it, I was looking at it and say, okay, what's in here? There's only a few things in it that I'm not really fond of, and that is the preservatives. You know, we all have, you know, prepackaged items are all filled with preservatives and nutrients and all this other stuff. And I truly am trying to get away from a lot of that. And, but that's a choice. So I want my chickens to be away from it too. So what I do with this has tons of different seeds, and this is what I want to get. So this is about a half a cup. All right, I moved the camera, so sorry. So I have about a half a cup. It's not full, and I just sprinkle that on top. And that's quite a bit as well. And this will be their brunch. I know my husband, he tells me, why do you do this for them? Their family is what I tell my husband. And he has complained a few times, you don't make me breakfast like that. I said I would if you didn't get up so early in the morning or didn't eat so early, because my eating pattern is, and I've never been one to enjoy breakfast. And so what I do is I eat around 10 or 11. It's about 9:30 right now. And that's about the time I feed them. So I eat between 10 and 11, sometimes not even until 1 o'clock. So I'm not really, my stomach isn't, you know, I have a cup of coffee, I might have a cup of tea, and I'm drinking water, and I might grab a banana. I actually have a banana ready. But I'm just not a breakfast person. Do I like breakfast foods that we consider breakfast foods, like scrambled eggs, oatmeal, you know, the German French toast? Oh, I gotta show you that, how to make gluten-free German French toast at some point. But I'm not a breakfast person. So I told him, I said, well, someday, I'm talking about my husband, I said, someday I'll make you a breakfast treat with all these things in it. He got a little quiet. He goes, I don't want all those nuts and stuff. So what I want to share with you, that what's in this, and it is nutritious for the chickens. So it's got, and what's nice is all the first ingredients are really good. They're not chemically whatever. So it's got wheat, it's got peanuts, corn, millet, raisins, dried tomatoes, dried carrots, popcorn. I didn't know chickens liked popcorn. When I read that before, I was just like, you gotta be kidding. Maybe we should make more popcorn and just go out and share it with them. All right, so sunflower kernels, flaxseed, sunflower seeds, let's see, safflower seeds, Milo, soybean meal, feeding oatmeal, dehydrated alfalfa meal, hominy feed, wheat middlings, dried whey, vegetable oil, steamed rolled oats, oregano, thyme, calcium carbonate, brewer's dried yeast, linseed meal, monocalcium, phosphate, dicalcium phosphate, iron oxide, salt, natural, and artificial flavors. I'm not sure if chickens taste things, but they might. They're going to love this, though. They must. But I don't like artificial flavors. Why do they need to do that if you've got natural flavors in here? All right, I digressed. Propionic acid, which is a preservative. And having them on the shelf, it makes sense that there's a preservative in here. So I understand that. You don't know how long they've been on the shelf before they actually got to the store shelf. So I can understand that. I just don't like stuff. Fenugreek seed, choline chloride, zinc oxide, ferrous carbonate, sulfur, vitamin E supplement, ferrous sulfate, vitamin A supplement, vitamin D3 supplement, vitamin B12 supplement, manganese oxide, niacin supplement, sodium selenite, copper oxide, calcium pantothenic, copper sulfate, riboflavin supplement, biotin, thiamine, folic acid, calcium iodine, cobalt carbonate, pyridioxine hydrochloride, and it contains peanuts. So most of it sounds pretty good. The only thing that I don't like is when they add in vitamins. If the foods that I eat, I try to make sure that they have all those vitamins in it. So I don't agree with supplements, but you know what? I want healthy chicken. So as long as the vitamin supplement they're putting in is natural, that's fine. But you know me, if any of you know me, you know I'm going to find another way to give them those vitamins, because I know with all that I've done over the years, I don't take a lot of these supplements the doctors recommend, like vitamin D. Vitamin D you get from the sunshine. Let those chickens run. So, but anyways, this is all set. This is their Sunday brunch. And the only difference between Sunday and the weekly brunch is I used both oatmeal and scrambled eggs for them. Now, I don't know if that looks good for you, but there are some people in this world, even in the United States, this would be awesome. And I'm telling you, this smells amazing. I'm almost tempted to have some. But think about it. Apples, raisins, it's got different seeds. It's got all these herbs. These are herbs I put in my food all the time. And so this is something that is edible for the chickens, and it's very, very healthy. And so, and I'm sorry, hon, if you watch this, I'll make you this if you'd like. I would be happy to share this with you. But I think what he's doing is he wasn't complaining that I don't make him breakfast, because he knows that I just don't eat breakfast. But he knows that I do make breakfast type foods at night. And so I'm not sure if that was a hint that he's in the mood for breakfast dinner at some point. I could do that tonight for him and cut up the fruit and everything else. And those who know him, he's not big into herbs like I am or into massive amounts of fruit. But I do put them on his plate, you know, like the grapes. I make sure he has them for lunch, and apples and stuff. And then new fruits I'll just introduce to him as well. No, some people just don't like all that stuff. or they weren't exposed to it when they were a kid. So it's hard. It's hard to kind of like, I'm not sure. Sort of like oh my gosh, brain. One of the veggies I grew for the first time this year, he was the white eggplant. He was like, Laura, I'm not sure. When we're unfamiliar with stuff, we kind of like, I'm not sure. And that's the way he is. And even still, even if I cook it so that he likes it, I'll say, oh, I'm going to make this. And he'll go, he does that until I've made it a few times to realize that, yeah, this is really good. So, but anyways, I need to go entertain my chickens and feed them their morning treat. And this is a Sunday brunch because it has it has eggs and oatmeal in there. So, and I still only gave them the same amount of everything else. Maybe a little bit more because of the eggs and the oatmeal. Still, this is cold and it's still smelling wonderful. So they're ready for this, and they're not going to get I'm not sure how they're going to do with this. I was using my my bowls, anyways, my good bowls, because they have a heavy base, and chickens have a tendency to run all over the base, any bowl you give them. And so I know that this plastic one is going to get flipped. So I may transfer it into a bowl that they can't flip, my Fiesta bowls. But I'm kind of like nervous because I don't want it to break out there. Not that their little bodies would break it. It's just when I go into the coop or into the run, they tend to come running up to me, and they just kind of like cause me to kind of like, woo! That happened yesterday. And they just love seeing me. My husband said to me once, he goes, when I go out to the compost, which is a little bit away from them, he goes, they don't come running up to me like they do you. I said, it's because you don't give them treats. So anyways, I'm off to feed the chickens, and I will be back with my Sunday reflection, and I hope you have a fabulous day. God bless.